Hi, I'm Maria Lourdes Valenzuela, and our report is about fire safety and code in overview of safety and basic safety procedures in high-risk activities and industries. So first, let us define what is fire safety. Fire safety refers to planning and infrastructure design aimed at reducing the risk of fire or impeding the spread of fire when one does break out. Fire safety encompasses the use of fire-resistant building materials, preventative action, safe work practices, fire safety training, flame-resistant protective clothing, and more. So, para sa kaligtasan sa sunog, ito ay tumutukoy sa planning and infrastructure ng isang design para mabawasan ang mabilis na pagkalat ng sunog sa isang area, and yung scope ng fire safety ay ang paggamit din ng mga materials sa isang building na kayang labanan ang sunog.
It's a normal day. You're stuck in class. When suddenly, the fire alarm goes off. Do you know what to do? Of course you do. First, alert everyone. This is normally done by shouting or by pressing the fire alarm. Step 2. Evacuation, or hightailing it out of there in an orderly manner by using the shortest and safest possible way indicated in the evacuation route. When it comes to these kind of situations, knowing your way out is definitely handy. Step 3. Make sure to call the proper authorities, especially the local fire department, so that they can rush to the scene as soon as they can. And step 4, do not let anyone go back in the classroom or even inside the building. But wait, what if the fire is accessible and it's not too big yet? Then you can probably suppress it using a fire extinguisher. Get one in any of the fire cabinets located within the building. Check the pressure if it's still okay. Rush over the scene and maintain at least 2 meters away from the blaze. All you need to remember is PASS. Pass. Pull the pin. Aim at the base of the fire. Squeeze the lever. Sweep from side to side. And bam! Fire's out. What about if it happened outside? You just have to pay attention to the wind direction. Whatever you do, do not go against the wind. Perform pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. As easy as that.
RA 9514, the Fire Code of the Philippines, revised implementing rules and regulations, revised 2019. Fire Codes, Rule 1, Interpretation. This RIRR shall be interpreted in light of the Declaration of Policy found in Section 2 of this Code. It is the policy of the state to ensure public safety, promote economic development through the prevention and suppression of all kinds of destructive fires, and promote the professionalization of the fire service as a profession. Towards this end, the state shall enforce all laws, rules, and regulations to ensure adherence to standard fire prevention and safety measures, and promote accountability in the fire protection and prevention service. So about ito sa pag-promote ng professionalization of the fire service as a profession upang mapalawak at mataguyod ang pag-unlad ng ekonomiya at matiyak ang kaligtasan ng publiko sa pamamagitan ng pag-iwas at pagsugpo sa lahat ng uri ng mapanirang apoy. And towards this end, the state shall enforce all laws and rules para masigurado ang pagsunod sa mga standard fire prevention. Rule 2, Coverage. This RIRR shall cover the following: A. All persons, either natural or juridical. B. All buildings, facilities, or structures and their premises erected or constructed before and after the effectivity hereof. C. Design and installation of mechanical, electronics, and electrical systems relative to fire protection. D. Manufacturing, storage, handling, or use and transportation of explosives and or combustible or flammable liquids and gases, toxic and other hazardous materials, and operations and their waste. E. Fire safety planning, design, construction, repair, maintenance, rehabilitation, and demolition. F. Fire protective and warning equipments of systems. G. All land transportation vehicles and equipment, ships or vessels docked at piers or wharves or anchored in seaports. And H. Petroleum industry installation. So, lahat ng ito ay cover ng RI, RR for fire safety. Rule 3. Definition of terms. For purposes of this RIRR, the following terms, words, and phrases shall mean or be understood as follows. So, para sa layunin ng RIRR na ito, ang mga sumusunod na termino at salita ay nangangahulugan o mauunawaan tulad ng mga sumusunod. A. Abatement, aerodrome, aircraft engine, aircraft, airfall, airport. 2. Alternative or remedial fire safety measures, apartment building, approved supervised sprinkle system or ASSS, authorized government depository bank AGDB or authorized government servicing bank AGSB, government servicing banks such as Land Bank of the Philippines LBP, Development Bank of the Philippines DBP, United Coconut Planters Bank UCPD, and Philippine Veterans Bank PBP, wherein fire codes revenues are deposited for subsequent remittance to the Bureau of Treasury or BTR, automatic fire suppression system, automotive service station, and others. Rule 4. Authority of the Chief Bureau of Fire Protection, Section 4001, General Authority to administer and enforce RA 9514 and its RIRR. The administration and enforcement of the RA 9514 and its RIRR shall be under the direct supervision and control of the Chief BFP through the hierarchy of organization as provided for in Chapter 6 of Republic Act Number 6975, the DILG Reorganization Act of 1990 as amended by Republic Act Number 9263, the Bureau of Fire Protection or the BFP, and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, the BJMP Professionalization Act of 2004. So, sinasabi dito na ang pagpapatupad ng RA 9514 at ang RIRR ay direktang pangangasiwaan ng control of the chief or yung BFP through the hierarchy of organization as provided for in Chapter 6 of Republic Act Number 6975 and the DILG Reorganization Act. Section 4002, Authority of the Chief BFP subject to approval of Secretary of Interior and Local Government, SILG. Section 4003, Specific Authority of Chief BFP. Rule 5, Fire Code Technical Staff. Division 1, Technical Staff. Section 5011, Constitution and Qualification. The Chief BFP shall constitute a technical staff of highly qualified persons who are knowledgeable on fire prevention, fire safety, and fire suppression. So, about ito sa pagbuo ng technical staff na highly qualified at may kaalaman about sa fire prevention, safety, and suppression. Section 5012, Resources. Section 5013, Duties and Function. Section 5014, Enumeration. Rule 6, Fire Brigades, Fire Volunteer Organizations, and Fire Safety Practitioners. Division 1 Scope. This rule shall govern the organization, equipage, operation, and proficiency training of company and community fire brigades, as well as continuous training and competency evaluation of fire volunteers and fire volunteer organizations in the country who shall undergo mandatory fire prevention, fire suppression, rescue, emergency medical services, and other related emergency response training programs and competency evaluation to be conducted 18 by the BFP. So, ang saklaw nito ay ang pagsasanay at pagsusuri ng kakayahan ng mga fire volunteer and fire volunteer organizations sa bansa na isa sa ilalim at ito ay mandatory para sa pag-iwas at pagsugpo sa sunog, and yung mga emergency medical services at iba pang kaugnay na programa na isasagawa ng BFP. Division 2, Organization of Fire Brigades. Section 6021, Requirements. Section 6022, Composition. Section 6023, Components. Section 6024, Duties and Responsibilities of a Fire Brigade Chief. Section 6025, Qualification for Membership in the Company. Section 6026, Availability of Personnel. Division 3, Training of Fire Brigades, Fire Safety Practitioners, and Fire Volunteer Organization. Section 6031, Certificate of Competency. Section 6032, Training Design. Section 6033, Scope of Training. Section 6034, Assistance in Training Programs. Section 6035, Identification. Division 4, Command, Equipment, Maintenance, and Fire Drills. Section 6041, Practice Drills. Section 6042, Operation of Equipment. Section 6043, Reactivation of Equipment. Section 6044, Inspection and Scheduled Maintenance Work. Section 6045, Command at Fire Scene. Rule 7, Assistance and Support to the BFP. Division 1, Philippine National Police and Other Law Enforcement Agency. Section 7011, from Philippine National Police. Upon request, the Philippine National Police or the PNP shall render necessary assistance to the Chief, BFP, or his or her duly authorized representative on the following actions. Ang PNP daw ay dapat magbigay ng kinakailangang tulong sa BFP o sa kanyang nararapat na kinatawan sa mga sumusunod na aksyon. A. Actual firefighting operation and fire scene investigation. B. Business closure and summary abatement proceedings. C. Installation of signs that the building or structure is a fire hazard and or fire trap. D. Obstruction of designated fire lanes and fire hydrants. E. Apprehensions of violators or persons removing, destroying, tampering, or obliterating warning signs and similar abatement appurtenances. F. Laboratory physical examination of the pieces of evidence gathered in the fire scene and submit the result thereof to the Chief BFP or his or her duly authorized representative as the case may be. And G. Such other duties and functions of the BFP which would require police assistance. Section 7012, from the other law enforcement agencies. Division 2, Local Government Units, Other Government Agencies, and Private Institutions. Section 7021, from Local Government Units. Section 7022, Coordination with Other Agencies. Rule 8, Fire Safety Enforcers. Chapter 1, Qualifications of Fire Safety Enforcers. Division 1, Minimum Requirements. BFP personnel duly designated as fire safety enforcers shall possess minimum required qualification standard stated herein. So, ang mga BFP personnel na dapat itinalaga sa fire safety enforcers ay dapat magtaglay ng minimum required qualification standard na nakasaad sa Section 8111. Section 8111, Fire Safety Inspectors. A. Uniformed personnel. Sa uniform personnel, sila yung may mga license sa ibang profession and shall be graduate of baccalaureate degree course with at least 3 years in the BFP services. First, shall be licensed engineer, civil, electrical, mechanical, chemical, sanitary, and electronics with at least 1 year in the BFP service or second, shall be architect with at least 1 year in the BFP service or third, shall be graduate of any baccalaureate degree course with at least 3 years in the BFP service. And B, non-uniform personnel appointed as engineers with at least 1 year in the BFP service. C. Must have undergone and completed prescribed training in fire safety enforcers and other relevant fire safety training. Section 8112, Plan Evaluators. Section 8113, Chief Fire Safety Enforcement Section or Unit. Chapter 2, Functions of Fire Safety Enforcers. Division 1, Responsibility of Designated Fire Safety Enforcers. Section 8211, Fire Safety Inspectors. The following shall be the main duties and responsibilities of fire safety inspectors. Sa Section 8211, ang mga sumusunod ay magiging pangunahing tungkulin at responsibilidad of fire safety inspectors. A. Inspect any buildings, structure or facility and or any part thereof, hazardous operations, storage facilities, and transportation vehicles of hazardous materials to ensure compliance with RA 9514 and its RIRR and other related laws, regulations, standards, and ordinances within the area of responsibility. B. Assess compliance with the fire safety requirements, identify and recommend corrective actions for violations or defects and deficiencies, and inform the owner or building administrator or occupants of such actions to comply with the provisions of RA 9514 and its RIRR and other related laws, regulations, standards, and ordinances. C. Testify in any judicial and quasi-judicial bodies regarding matters relating to RA 9514 and its RIRR and or the performance of his or her duties related thereto when needed. D. Conduct fire safety lectures, seminars, or workshops and drills. And E. Prepare necessary documents and maintain file and or records. Section 8212, Plan Evaluators.
Rule number 9. Enforcement and Administration of Fire Safety Measures. Division 1 General. A. Inspection of all buildings, structure, facilities, and premises, hazardous operation, storage facilities, and transportation vehicles of hazardous materials, and the determination of compliance with RA 9514 and its RIRR shall be done by C/MFM having jurisdiction. B. Fire safety inspection shall be conducted as a prerequisite to grant of permits and or licenses by local governments or other government agencies. No certificate of occupancy, business permit, or permit to operate shall be issued without securing a fire safety inspection certificate or FCIC from the C/MFM having jurisdiction. C. The C/MFM having jurisdiction shall review, evaluate, and assess plans, design calculations, and specifications, the issue the necessary building fire safety evaluation clearance or FCEC as a prerequisite from the assurance of building permit by the office of the building official upon determination that design and specification is in accordance with RA 9514 and its RIRR. Division 2 Fire Safety Evaluation and Inspection section including the following: building plan review, inspection during construction, inspection after completion of construction, business and routine or annual inspection. Division 3 section including the following: fire safety compliance report or FSCR, fire safety compliance and commissioning report or FSCCR, fire safety maintenance report or FSMR, fire safety practitioners. Division 4 Fire Safety Inspection Certificate, FSIC, as a prerequisite for issuance of permit and license and documentary requirements. Division 5 Fire Safety Clearance. Fire Safety Clearance or FSC for standalone applications shall be required for the storage, handling, and transportation of hazardous materials and hazardous operations and processes as may be prescribed in other provision of this RIRR. Likewise, installation clearance shall be required for the installation of fire safety and warning system and building services equipment. All issues FSC except installation clearance to business establishment shall be renewed before the issuance of FSIC for business permit. Division 6 Fire Insurance Data Required. All person having fire insurance coverage on their properties and or business shall submit a certified true copy of all coverages currently in effect, including subsequent and or additional policies to the C/MFM having jurisdiction not later than 10 days after receipt of the document from any insurance company. Excepted from these requirements are owner of detached single or two-family dwellings actual being used for residential occupancy. Rule number 10 Fire Safety Measures. Chapter 1 Coverage. This rules covers the fire safety measure for buildings, structures and facilities, hazardous materials and waste, hazardous operations and processes, and miscellaneous hazardous premises and or conditions that by its very nature or relation to life, property and environment pose threat or danger. Chapter 2 Fire Safety in Buildings, Structure and Facilities. Division 1 Scope. A. This chapter deals with life safety from fire and like emergencies in building, structure and facilities. It covers construction, protection and occupancy features to minimize danger to life from fire, smoke, vapor, and fumes before building are vacated. It also discusses procedures and guidelines in fire drills required for all types occupancies to prevent panic in times of emergencies. It specifies the number, size, and arrangements of means of egress sufficient to permit prompt and safe escape of occupants for buildings or structures or facilities in case of fire or other conditions dangerous to life and property. B. Nothing in this chapter shall be construed or construed to prohibit a better type of design, building, construction more exceed or otherwise safer condition than the requirements specified in this chapter. Nothing in this rule is intended to prevent the use of new methods or devices provided sufficient technical data are submitted to demonstrate that the new method or devices is equivalent in quality, strength, fire resistant, effectiveness, durability, and safety to that prescribed by this rule. Division 2. General requirements. Every building or structure shall be designed, constructed, equipped, maintained, and operated to avoid danger to lives and ensure safety of its occupant from fire, smoke, vapor, and fumes during the period of escape from the building or structure. Division 3. Classification of occupancy. A. A building or structure or portion of building or structure shall be classified as follows. First, assembly. Second, education. 3, daycare. 4, healthcare. 5, residential board and care. 6, detention and correctional. 7, residential. 8, mercantile. 9, business. 10, industrial. 11, storage. 12, mixed occupancy. 13, special structures. Division 4, hazard of building, including general classification of hazard of content. Division 5, means of egress, application, general provisions, doors, stairs, outside stairs, horizontal exits, ramps, exit passageways, escalators, and moving walks, fire, escape stairs, ladders, and slide escape, elimination of means of egress, exit marking, emergency evaluation plan. Division 6, features of fire protection, including the following: construction and compartmentation, fire doors, smoke partitions, interior finish, protection of vertical opening and combustible, automatic sprinklers, and other extinguishing equipment, standpipes, portable fire extinguishers, and segregation and protection of hazard. Division 7, building services equipment, including utilities, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, rubbish chutes, laundry chute, and flue-fed incinerators, elevators and escalators, and fire safety clearance. Division 8, places of assembly, including occupant load, exit details, stage and enclosed platform, projection booth, decorative material, pyroxylene coated fabric, motion picture screen, stage, curtain and drapes, protection, building services equipment, emergency evacuation plan and occupant load, overcrowding, standby BFP personnel, outdoor assembly, underground structure and windowless buildings, special provisions for exhibition halls, existing places of assembly, projection rooms for safety films, and open flame. Division 9. Educational occupancies, occupancy and occupant load, exit details, lighting and signs, window for rescue and ventilation, protection, building services, equipment, special provision for flexible plan and open plan buildings, special provision for preschools, underground and windowless educational buildings, special provision for combined occupancies, existing education. Division 10. Daycare occupancies, including the following: general requirements, occupant load, exit details, window for rescue, mandatory ramp requirement, protection, corridors, building services, equipment, daycare homes, healthcare, occupancies, general requirements, exit detail, protection, building services, equipment. Division 12. Residential board and care, including the following: general requirements, small facilities and large facilities. Division 13. Detention and correctional occupancies. Section including the following: general requirements, exit details, protection. Division 14. Residential occupancy. Section including the following: classification, requirements, hotels and dormitories, apartment buildings, lodging and rooming houses, single and two family dwellings. Division 15. Mercantile occupancies. Section including the following: general requirements, exit detail, protection, building services, equipment, and special provision. Division 16. Business and occupancies. Section including the following: general requirements, exit details, protection, building services, equipment, combined business and mercantile occupancy. Division 17. Industrial occupancy. Section including the following: requirements, exit details, protection. Division 18. Storage occupancy, general requirement, protection, special provision for parking structures, special provision for aircraft hangars.
Overview of safety and basic safety procedures in high-risk activities and industries. Fire safety and codes. Ako po si Joshua Roquero ng BSCE 3K. Division 20. Aerodrome Facilities, Section 10.2.20.1. General Safety Requirements. A. The BFP shall conduct regular and periodic fire safety inspection on all aerodrome facilities. B. Flammable and combustible liquid and fuel shall not be dispensed into or removed from the fuel system of an aircraft within any aircraft hangar, a container, tank, vehicle, or aircraft except in locations approved by the city municipal fire marshal having jurisdiction. C. The application of flammable and combustible liquid finishes shall be done only in locations approved by the city municipal fire marshal having jurisdiction. D. No smoking signs with white letters at least 10 centimeters high upon a red ground shall be posted conspicuously throughout every aircraft hangar and each fuel transfer point except in approved, designated, and posted locations where smoking is permitted. So, sinasabi po rito na yung BFP or Bureau of Fire Protection dapat ay may doong regular na inspection sa bawat aircraft, sa mga bawat airport. Ano ba yung aerodrome facilities? Ito nga pa airport o yung mga pinagpapalapagan po ng mga aeroplano. At yung mga combustible liquid po, katulad ng mga gasolina, dapat daw po may regular inspection din ng fire marshal. Sila po yung galing yung mga sila po yung mga representative ng galing sa BFP para malaman yung safety ng lugar. At yung mga no smoking signs daw po, dapat meron itong at least 10 cm high para mabasa ng mga tao at magkaroon ng designated na lugar para sa mga smoking area. Section 20. Special Provision for High-Rise Buildings. Scope. This division deals with life safety from fires and similar emergencies in high-rise buildings. It covers fire safety features in construction and protection of exits and passageways, and provision for fire protection. Definition: a high-rise building is one in which the distance between the floor of the topmost story and the ground level is 15 meters or more. Building height shall be measured from the lowest level of fire department vehicle access to the floor of the highest occupable story. Ito naman daw pong ang tinutukoy naman daw po dito yung mga fire exit, kung saan ba dapat nakalagay, dapat paano kung magkasunog, baka kung saan, baka hanapin pa ng mga tao kung saan sila lalabas, kung paano magka-emergency. Dapat daw po nakalagay na ito sa mga lugar na madaling makita kung sakaling magkaroon ng sunog. Section 10. Smoke Control. High-rise buildings shall be designed in such a manner that the levels of smoke concentration in protected space can be maintained within values that can be tolerated by occupants. The protected space shall include stairwells, at least one elevator shaft, and floor spaces readily accessible to occupants and large enough to accommodate them. In the spaces to which the requirement for control of smoke level applies, the atmosphere shall not include more than 1% by volume of the contaminated atmosphere emanating from the fire area. Dapat daw po yung pagkakadesign na high-rise building ay hindi nakakonsentrate yung mga usok. Baka kasi may magsindi lang ng papel or sigarilyo, tapos wala ng airflow, hindi na makakalabas yung usok ng galing sa sigarilyo, ay di magiging hindi. Dapat daw po may more than 1% na paglalabasan ng usok upang hindi na ito maging concentrated sa isang area lamang. Sprinkler Systems Protection. High-rise buildings shall be protected with approved supervised sprinkler systems designed and installed in accordance with NFPA 13 standard for installation of sprinkler systems. The approved supervised sprinkler systems must protect all floor spaces, including every closet and concealed spaces and plenums of certain configuration and construction, particularly where combustible materials are located, such as exposed electrical wiring, combustible ductwork, and combustible sound thermal insulation. The system shall be interconnected to a fire command center of the building. Yung fire sprinkler system daw po, dapat nakikita, dapat may maayos na pagkakalagay-lagay. At especially lalo na po sa may mga flammable materials, yung may mga nakalabas na wire sa building, upang kung sakali magkaroon ng problema, mag-detect po ito ng fire sprinkler system at mag-emit agad ng water upang mamatay yung apoy at hindi na lumalapay sunog. A. Design and construction of aircraft refuelers shall conform to the following. A. Aircraft refueler unit shall be attended and operated only by qualified personnel. Each qualified operator shall be required to carry his identification card and to submit documents issued by the employer certifying his qualification to the VFE. The fuel transfer hoses shall be properly placed in the approved rails or in the compartment provided, or may be stored on top decking of the fuelers, providing the rails of proper height and provided for security and protection of such equipment before any aircraft refueler unit is moved. Such transfer hose shall not be looped or dropped over any part of the refueler unit, nor shall fuel transfer hose be dragged when such refueler unit is moved from fueling unit to another. Ang sinasabi po rito na yung mga operator daw po ng bawat aircraft maintenance dapat mag-carry ng identification card at magsabit ng proper documentation sa BFP upang malaman kung sila ay qualified ba sa ganitong trabaho. At yung mga hose na ginagamit upang mag-refuel ng mga aircraft dapat nasa tamang pwesto at hindi basta-basta ginagalaw. A. Approval must first be obtained from the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines and City Municipal Fire Marshal having jurisdiction before helistops can be operated. C. Landing areas and the structure shall be so maintained as to confine any flammable liquid spillage to the landing area itself and shall be made to drain such spillage away from any exit or stage. So, yung approval po ay nanggagaling sa Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines or City Fire Marshal. Upang doon nanggagaling yung approval ng mga operator. At yung mga paglalandingan na area ay dapat well-maintained at kung sakali may leak ng mga fuel ay may dagusan ito or daanan. Chapter 3. Fire Safety for Hazardous Materials. Section 10.3.1.1 Applicability. This chapter shall apply to materials and chemicals which are highly flammable that may react to cause fire or explosion. By their presence may create a fire or explosion hazard, or C. Their toxicity, flammability, and activity render firefighting dangerous, or D. Flammable or combustible liquids which are chemically unstable and which may spontaneously form explosive compounds, or E. Flammable or combustible liquids which undergo spontaneous reaction of explosive violence or with sufficient evolution of heat to be a fire hazard. Hazardous materials and chemicals. Hazardous materials and chemicals shall include but not limited to flammable solids, corrosive liquids, radioactive materials, oxidizing materials, potentially explosive chemicals, highly toxic materials, and poisonous gases. Fire safety clearance, installation and storage, transportation of conveyance, disposal of abandonment. A. In addition of the issuance FSIC, a fire safety clearance shall be issued by the BFP as prerequisite for the issuance of appropriate permits and licenses from the local governments and other government agencies concerned of the following. So, lahat po ng approval ay dapat dumaan muna sa tamang proseso na isinasagawa ng BFP at FSIC for fire safety clearance. Division 3. General Requirements. The manufacture, storage, handling, and use of hazardous materials and chemicals shall be safeguarded with protective facilities or devices in public safety may require. The city municipal fire marshal having jurisdiction shall require the separation or isolation from other storage occupancies or buildings of any chemical that, in combination with other substances, may bring about a fire explosion or may liberate flammable or poisonous gas. C. Defective containers shall be disposed of or prepared in accordance with recognized safety practices. No spilled material shall be allowed to accumulate on floors or shelves. D. Where stored for retail storage shall be neat and orderly. E. Where no specific requirements have been established, storage, handling, and use of hazardous chemicals shall be in accordance with internationally recognized and good practice. Yung mga hazardous materials and chemicals ay dapat nasa well-protected na area na isolated sa mga pwedeng mag-cause ng sunog o pagkasabog nito. Ganon din yung mga materials na poisonous or hindi pwede ma-inhale ng tao. Dapat nasa isolated area na chinek ng fire marshal na galing sa BFP at ng mga authorized personnel only. Hindi pwede basta-basta kung sino lang yung nag-aayos nito. At dapat yung paglalagyan ng isolated area ay maayos or well maintained. Division 4. Specific requirements. Section 10.3.4.1. Solid. Hazardous solid materials are classified according to 1. Flexible materials such as textiles and cushioning, and 2. Structural materials which can include everything from steel and concrete to wood and synthetic structures. Plastic foams. The fire hazards posed by inorganic structural materials are most likely to be passive. B. On fire protection. First aid fire protection equipment appliances shall be installed in buildings where storing, handling, and displaying of cellulose, nitrate, plastic, chlorosilane is conducted. C. On display in stores or establishment displays of cellulose, nitrate, plastic, chlorosilane articles shall be in showcases or show windows. Yung pyrosilane ay ginagamit sa mga plastic. So, kung mapapansin nyo sa mga building, pagpasok nyo pala may makikita na kayo mga emergency first aid. Para kung sakaling magkaroon ng emergency or sunog, madali silang makita at madali makaresponde kung sakaling may mapahamak. Madali silang makuha. D. Fire safety clearance. A fire safety clearance for the storage of cellulose nitrate or cellulose nitrate plastics shall be obtained for city or fire marshal having jurisdiction. So, ito daw po mga fire safety clearance ay dapat kinukuha lang sa mga munisipyo or city municipal at mga authorized fire safety marshal. Ibig sabihin, sila lang daw po yung qualified na magbigay nito. Hindi daw po, kung sakaling may mag-iba na magbigay nito ay ito ay invalid or hindi pwedeng gamitin bilang clearance.
I'm Alexander P. Marcelo from BSc 3K. Continuation lang po ito. Division 8, Ripening Process.
So, dito po may apat na nakapaloob. Una is yung Section 10.4.8.1 Fire Safety Inspection Certificate or FSIC. Next is Construction, Operation, and Protection, and Maintenance. Division 9, Fumigation and Insecticidal Fogging. First is Fire Safety Clearance or FSC, Source of Ignition, Watch Personnel, Sealing of Building, Warning Signs, Venting and Cleanup, Thermal Insecticidal Fogging Liquids, Restricted Fumigants. So, in this division, tinutukoy dito yung pest control. Yan, kadalasan yung kung paano safety natin na maiaayos. Yung safety yan sa pest control nang walang hazardous effects sa atin. Division 10, Repair Garage. First is Construction. Sobrang alam naman na po natin yan. Operations, Protection, and Maintenance. Division 11, Lumber Yards, Wood Processing, and Wood Working Facilities. At the same lang din, Construction, Operation, Protection, and Maintenance. Division 12, Mechanical Refrigeration. First is General, or yung pangkalahatan. Second is Safety Features. Siyempre, una pa rin dapat yung safety natin. Third is Operations, Maintenance, and Testing. Division 13, Motion Picture Projection. Ganun din, Construction, Operation, Protection, and Maintenance. Division 14, Oil Burning Equipment. First is Safety Inspection Certificate or FSIC. Construction, Operation, Protection, and Maintenance. So, may mga equipment tayo na ginagamitan ng langis na talagang prone siya sa na makabuo ng apoy or sunog na so ito yung mga bagay na kailangan nating i-consider for our safety. Division 15, Manufacture of Organic Coatings. Applicability, kung saan siya pwedeng i-apply. Location of plants and buildings. Siyempre, importante din yung mga location natin na yan. Building construction, kung ano yung mga materials, kung light ba, kung concrete ba yan. Process equipment and operation, kung paano natin ginagamit yung mga equipment natin, kung safety pa ba tayo dyan. Material storage and handling, kung paano natin kinikip ng maayos. Special hazards, control of ignition sources, management of fire hazards, fire protection, training and emergency planning. So, siyempre, dapat alam natin, dapat meron tayong mga basic knowledge dyan. Inspection and maintenance. Siyempre, dapat meron pa rin tayong maintenance about yan. Division 16, Industrial Ovens and Furnaces. First is Generals. Next is Location and Construction, Commission, Operations, Maintenance, Inspection, and Testing. And the last one is Fire Protection. Division 17, Welding, Cutting, and Other Hot Work Operation. General, Responsibility for Welding, Cutting, and Other Hot Works, Fire Prevention Precautions, Public Exhibition and Demonstration. So, alam naman natin na yung welding na talagang malapit siya na mag-cause din ng mga sunog. So, dapat may mga alam din tayo dyan. At yan, ito nga yung mga dapat natin i-consider about sa welding, cutting, and other hot work operations. Division 18, Safeguarding Building Construction, Alteration, and Demolition Operations. First is General Requirements, Process and Hazards, Fire Protection, Safeguarding, Construction, and Alteration Operations. So, siyempre, hindi naman tayo dapat na pwedeng mag-demolition na lang agad. Dapat i-consider din natin yung safety natin about fire protection, yung mga general requirements, mga papeles na kailangan natin dyan. para sa safety ng ating mga magde-demolition. Chapter 5, Miscellaneous Safety Measures. Division 1, Water and Wastewater Treatment Plants. Scope, General Safety Practices, Hazard Evaluation, Process and Equipment Control, Ventilation, Materials of Construction, Education, and Fire Protection. So, siyempre, dapat alam natin kung paano natin i-treat yung tamang paggamit ng tubig. So, yan. Division 2, Smoking, Designated and Prohibited Smoking Areas. No smoking signages. So, ayan, sobrang kitang-kita naman na natin yung explanation dyan na meron dapat tayong i-consider kung meron tayong mga designated areas na ilagay dyan and meron din dapat tayong mga signages about that smoking for the safety of everyone. Division 3, Manufacture and Sale of Fire Extinguisher. Scope, Manufacture and Sale, Preventive Maintenance, Prohibited Types of Extinguisher, Prohibited Acts. So, siyempre sa pag-manufacture ng mga at saka yung mga tungkol sa fire extinguisher na yan, dapat alam natin kung paano siya gamitin. Dapat may mga basic knowledge tayo kung paano siya i-maintain and kung ano yung dapat natin gamitin. Depende sa kung anong klase ng sunog yung paggagamitan natin. Division 4, Open Burning, when allowed, exceptions, prohibition on open burning, requirements, procedure for obtaining fire safety clearance, and last one is responsible person for outdoor burning. Division 5, Incinerator. Division 6, Use of equipment, appliances, devices, and vacant buildings. Toy balloons, tracer bullets and similar devices, asphalt kettles, electrical wiring and other devices, trapdoors to be closed, shaftways to be marked, use of torches or flame-producing devices for removing paint, hazardous warning lights, open flame device in port or wharves, vacating premises, vacant buildings. Division 7, Urban and Rural Pre-Fire Planning. Hydrant, Fire Department Access Roads, Designation of Fire Lane. So, Rule 12, Fire Code Taxes, Fees or Charges and Fines. Fire Code Revenues, Assessment, Schedule of Fees and Fines, Manner of Collection, Designation of Collecting Officer, Utilization, Monitoring. Rule 13, Administrative Courses of Actions. First is General Guidelines, Fixing of Fines, Jurisdiction, General Procedures, Public Issuance, Period for correcting violations, penalties for specific individuals, conduct of highway monitoring, removal of hazard. And for the last part, Rule 14, Miscellaneous Provisions. Protest, appeal, effect of filing a protest or appeal, citizen participation, implementing detail, alternative and or remedial fire safety measures, separability clause, repealing and amending clause, effectivity.
So, ito yung mga reference. First is yung fire safety definition. Ito yung link niya. And yun sa second, fire safety definition also. And third, yung kumuha kami ng konting video clip about sa basic fire safety structural video. Galing siya sa Philippine Red Cross ng Davao City. And 4, the book of RA 9514, the Fire Code of the Philippines, Revised Implementing Rules and Regulations, Revised 2019. So, yun lang po. Thank you.
Hello everyone, we are from group number 4 and we're going to discuss industrial hygiene. I am Rosalie Pachag reporting. So industrial hygiene, one of the most priorities in any workplace is to keep its employees safe and healthy. But in practice, ensuring employee safety and health can prove difficult. According to U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 5,250 workers died from workplace-related injuries in 2018, and 2.8 million non-fatal workplace injuries and illness occurred in private sector alone. So, isa sa mga priorities ng workplace natin is mapanatili na safe yung mga workers natin. Kasi bakit nga ba natin gugustuhin maging safe sila? Unang-una, para na din maiwasan yung gastos ng company regarding sa health pagpapagamot ng mga workers if ever na magkaroon ng injuries. Second, gusto natin na mapanatili na maayos yung productivity ng mga workers natin at walang magkakaroon ng problema regarding sa kawalan ng tao. And also, mas gusto natin na mapanatiling ligtas yung mga workers para na din magkaroon ng assurance yung iba nating mga workers at magkaroon ng mas magandang productivity and mas maayos yung maging work ng mga employees natin. So, fortunately, proper industrial hygiene in the workplace can help. A robust international hygiene and chemical safety program helps reduce hazard levels in the workplace, and it gives employees the tools and protection they need to stay safe when they encounter hazards. And this guide will discuss how an industrial hygiene program works. So, what is industrial hygiene? Industrial hygiene is a science of controlling hazardous workplace conditions to prevent employees from becoming sick or injured. So, gaya nga ng sabi ko, gamit ang industrial hygiene, napapanatili natin yung safety and security ng mga workers natin regarding sa injuries and sa health problems. Industrial hygiene has had its beginning in antiquity when Roman scholars documented the health risks to workers exposed to sulfur, lead, and zinc. So, nagkasimula yung industrial hygiene or yung pagpapanatili ng kalinisan sa workplace no yung mga Roman scholars ay nakapag-document na yung mga workers nga noon is na-expose sa sulfur, lead, and zinc. So, alam naman natin na toxic chemicals yung mga yun. Over future centuries, government began enacting legislation to address industrial hygienes. So, ito yung mga batas na pinatupad ng iba't ibang bansa regarding sa industrial hygiene. So, England Chimney Sweeper Act of 1788, the United States enactment important pieces of legislation like the Metal and Non-Metallic Mine Safety Act of 1966 and the Federal Coal Mine Safety and Health Act of 1969 and the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. So, importance of industrial hygiene. Industrial hygiene is essential because it helps protect employees from several types of injuries and illnesses, including non-fatal illnesses. Skin, lung, and gastrointestinal disease like anthrax are common occupational hazards in agricultural operations. And blood-borne illnesses like hepatitis B and C are common occupational hazards in medical settings and laboratories. Industrial hygiene can help prevent the transmission of this disease and many others. So, yung mga non-fatal illnesses, ito yung mga skin, lung, and gastrointestinal disease. Ito yung mga sakit na nakukuha dahil nga sa pagkawala ng industrial hygiene. So, respiratory conditions. From respiratory itself, ito yung mga sakit na gaya ng chronic bronchitis, asbestosis, pneumonitis, and common occupational hazards, especially in industries like mining, where inhaling dust is common. Industrial hygiene can help mandating the use of personal protective equipment, which provides respiratory protection and improves working and conditions. So, sa respiratory naman, ito yung mga sakit na nakukuha sa pag-inhale ng mga bagay na toxics. And dahil doon, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga sakit sa baga, gaya ng chronic bronchitis, asbestosis, and pneumonitis. So, para maiwasan yun, binibigyan tayo ng mandate na gumamit ng personal protective equipment or PPE. Yun nga yung mga gaya ng gas mask or face mask na makakatulong sa atin upang magkaroon ng or mabawasan yung mga toxic chemicals na pwede pumasok sa katawan natin through nose. So, skin disease. Skin disease like dermatitis, eczema, rashes, and blisters are common in industries where workers' skin comes into contact with hazardous chemicals. Industrial hygiene can help by mandating PPE and offering guidelines about how chemicals are used, labeled, and stored in the workplace. So, ano nga ba yung skin disease? So, ito yung mga sakit na nakukuha natin sa balat dahil nga sa pagkaroon ng certain contact with these toxic chemicals. So, dahil nga doon, kailangan ulit natin magsuot ng PPE para magkaroon ng protection yung balat natin sa certain chemicals na nakakasama sa atin. So, poisoning. Poisoning can occur if workplace accidentally ingest toxic chemicals like pesticides, herbicides, formaldehyde, or cleaning agents. Workers might also absorb those chemicals through their skin. Industrial hygiene can help by mandating how poisons are used, labeled, and stored. So, sa poisoning naman, ito naman yung mga toxic chemicals na nakakalason. At dahil nga dito, natutulungan tayo ng industrial hygiene para magkaroon ng labels at magkaroon ng tamang storage yung mga ganong klaseng chemicals at maiwasan niya yung contact with them. Hearing loss. Hearing loss can occur when employees are exposed to high decibel sounds in an environment like airports or at construction and mining sites where detonations occur. Industrial hygiene can help by mandating personal PPE, measuring hazards with sound level meters, and offering guidelines about noise exposure in workplace. So, hearing loss naman, ito naman yung injury na nakukuha natin kapag nagkaroon ng sobrang lakas na tunog sa work. So, common ito na makikita sa airports dahil nga yung mga tunog ng planes is nakakabingi talaga, lalo na pag magte-take off yung mga aeroplano. Or at construction kasi doon natin naririnig kadalasan yung mga sobrang lakas na ingay ng pagpukpok ng martilyo or paghuhukay and many more. Tapos sa mining sites naman, dito nagkakaroon ng detonations or yung pagpapasabog kasi mas gusto nila yung mas mabilis na paraan. For example, imbis na hukayin nila yung certain place, mas preferred nilang magpasabog and doon na nga nagkakaroon ng accidents lalo na kapag hindi naka-PPE yung workers natin. So, dahil sa tulong ng industrial hygiene, matutulungan nila tayo na magkaroon ng guidelines about sa noise exposure and also maiwasan natin yung pagkakaroon ng sobrang decibel sounds at masusukat natin yung tamang sound lang na tolerable as sa ating mga workers. Economic effects of absenteeism. Ano nga ba yung absenteeism? Ito yung pagkakaroon ng absence na isang worker. And ano nga ba yung mga apekto kapag yung workers natin is absent? Industrial hygiene has benefits for employees as well. When employees miss work because of illness or injury, employees tend to suffer losses. lost productivity. So absenteeism in the workplace leads to loss of productivity when employees are absent. They cannot do the same amount of work, and scrambling to cover shifts in one area may lead to staffing shortages in another. And even when employees return, they may be slower and less productive because they still don't feel their best. So, dahil nga sa pagkakaroon ng injury na halimbawa ng at isang worker, syempre hindi siya makakapasok and magkakos yun na short staffing or magkakaroon ng kakulangan sa trabahador sa isang workplace. And kahit na bumalik siya kinabukasan, for example, pinilit natin pumasok si worker, syempre hindi na ganun ka-productive yung worker natin kasi nga hindi na nga ganun kaganda yung pakiramdam niya dahil galing siya sa injury. Diminished morale. High numbers of injuries and illness in the workplace tend to put damper on employees' morale. Plus, decreased employee morale can lead to even further diminished productivity as well as distractedness, which can result to vicious cycle of injury. So, diminished morale, dito naman papasok yung dahil nga sa dami na nang nai-injured sa workplace, syempre matatakot na yung ibang workers natin na baka sila din. And dahil nga doon, magkakaroon ng distraction at magkakos pa yon ng another cycle of injury. So, dapat talaga iwasan natin na magkaroon ng injury sa isang workplace. Lost profits. A study shows that as absenteeism cost companies about $3,600 per year for each hourly worker and $2,650,000 each year for salaried employees. This cost includes wages paid during sick leave, the high cost of replacement workers, and profit losses associated with the reduced production. So, sa lost profits naman, dahil nga na-aksidente yung worker natin, kailangan natin yan ipagamot. At gastos yon ng company. So, kailangan talaga natin na magkaroon ng disiplina at ng proper industrial hygiene sa isang workplace. So, fortunately, proper industrial hygiene keeps employees safe, healthy, present, and productive. So, these two essential roles of industrial hygienist: identification of hazard or stressors, elimination or control through appropriate measures. So, ito yung dalawang dapat tandaan as industrial hygienist. So, that's all for my report. Again, thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Ella May and I'm here to report the continuation of industrial hygiene. So, what does an industrial hygienist do? An industrial hygienist plays an essential role in ensuring employee safety and health in the workplace. Industrial hygienists are certified experts in the identification, evaluation, and control of workplace hazards. More than 40% of the OSHA compliance officers who perform inspection in workplace are classified as industrial hygienists. As part of their work duties, industrial hygienists help develop and set occupational safety and health regulation by evaluating the employee's exposure to workplace hazards. They then outline what steps are required to control those hazards. So, malaki yung role na ginagampanan nila sa pagtiyak sa kaligtasan at kalusugan ng mga empleyado sa isang lugar. Yung industrial hygienist din, sila din yung may tungkulin na tumulong sa pagbuo ng mga regulation para sa safety and health ng mga employee. Sa pamamagitan daw ng pagsusurin ng mga dapat gawin, and sila yung gumagawa ng plano para makontrol yung panganib sa pangkalusugan. So, role during industrial hygiene consultation. Two essential roles of the industrial hygienist are identifying workplace hazards and helping workplace control them. So, first, yung identification of hazards or stressors. The first step in an industrial hygienist's job is to identify the hazards or stressors that put employees at risk. Industrial hygienists identify hazard and stressors such as toxics, chemical, biohazard, and physical hazards. They typically do this by performing a worksite assessment in which they evaluate a workplace, identify its hazard and stressors, and work to figure out what needs to change to improve safety and health. So, first, kailangan nga muna na ma-identify yung mga panganib or yung stressor. So, yun nga daw yung mga chemicals, biohazard, and physical hazard. Kailangan daw na ma-identify una yon para malaman kung ano yung kailangan baguhin upang mapabuti ang kaligtasan at kalusugan. So, number 2, elimination or control through appropriate measures. Once they have identified the hazard in a workplace, industrial hygienists can begin developing a plan for eliminating or controlling of those hazards. Though total elimination of the hazard is ideal, in many situations they have to settle for partial control through the implementation of safety protocols. Industrial hygienists are often involved in the development of standards to protect workers, and they are often the people who set off the field enforcement protocols and procedures to ensure workplace are implementing those standards and abiding by them. So, once na ma-identify na nila yung maaari na silang magsimulang bumuo ng plano para sa pag-eliminate or pag-control ng mga panganib na iyon. Yung mga hygienists ay sila yung madalas na nagtatakda ng patakaran at pagpapatupad, and para din matiyak na ipinatutupad yon sa lugar ng mga workplace nila. At yung mga pamantayan iyon ay sinusunod sa kanila. So, overview of industrial hygiene hazard and controls. According to certified industrial hygienists, industrial hygiene hazards and the controls implemented to reduce them generally take 5 different forms. So, yung 5 forms na yon is yung environmental, chemical, biological, physical, and ergonomic. So, first, yung environmental. Environmental hazard includes stressors like air contaminants. This may be either particulate contaminants or gas and vapors contaminants. Some common particulate contaminants include the following. Yung aerosol. True aerosol are classed as particulate contaminants. They are tiny liquid particles. Aerosols are specific, especially respirable kind of mist. Thus, is the tiny solid particles that forms through activities such as abrading, blasting, crushing, drilling, and grinding. So basically, aerosol is a fine solid particle or liquid droplet na nanggagaling sa hangin or another gas. Yung example nito is yung fog, dust, tas yung forest exudates, and yung mga sea sprays. So next, fibers. Fibers are long, thin, solid particles. They are several times bigger in the length than in diameter. And fumes. Fumes forms when a solid become volatilized as by burning, and then volatilized particles condense in the air. Most of the times, these solid particles react with the air to form oxides. So yung fumes, ito yung vapor that smells strongly, and yun daw yung dangerous pagka na-inhale ng mga tao. And next, mist. Mist are finely separated liquids that hang suspended in the atmosphere. They form when activities such as atomizing, foaming, or splashing disperse a liquid into the particles, or when a substance condenses form a vapor back into a liquid suspension. And then yun nga, yung mist, ito yung small droplets of water suspended in air. It is most commonly seen when warm, moist, and etc. Tapos, next, gases. Example of gases contaminants in the workplace include carbon monoxide, which is a common byproduct of the operation of internal combustion engines, as well as welding gases such as acetylene, nitrogen, helium, and argon. So, alam naman natin na gases is one of the 4 fundamental states of the matter. And lastly, vapors. Vapors form when substance that exists in a solid or liquid states under normal temperature and pressure condition change into a gaseous form, that is, they evaporate. Cleaning substances, paints, and solvents are particularly susceptible to vaporizing, especially when under pressure or at the high heats. And adequate ventilation and the use of proper PPE such as respirators and face shield are often effective controls for environmental hazards. So yun nga yung mga ginagamit para sa safety. And then Next is chemical. So chemical hazardous chemicals compounds can take the form of gases, liquids, solids, dust, mist, vapors, and fumes. They have harmful effects when employees ingest, inhale, or absorb them through their skin. So, ito daw yung nakakapansalang epekto kapag ang mga empleyado ay nakakain, lumanghap, o napunta sa kanilang balat yung chemical. Super delikado daw nun. So, to help control chemical hazard facilities that use them should maintain a safety data sheet or SDS for each chemical. The SDS comes directly from the manufacturer or suppliers and contain essential health-related and toxicological information. Each chemical should also have a label with information that matches the chemical safety data sheet. So, para makontrol nila yung panganib sa mga chemicals, gumagamit sila ng isang sheet for safety or yung tinatawag nga na SDS para sa bawat chemicals na naglalaman ng information about dito. And dapat may label din yung mga information na tugma sa sheet ng kanilang data. So, that's all. Thank you.
Hi. Ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon ay ang last part ng industrial hygiene, which is personal hygiene. Proper personal hygiene, including hand-washing measures and the use of PPE, is essential to control biological hazards. So, hand-washing, so paglilinis ng kamay, no? So, napakahalaga nun. And then, PPE, yung PPE, personal protective equipment siya so para ma-control or maiwasan naman yung mga biological hazards include bacteria, viruses, and fungi that can cause illness. Biological hazards are common in laboratory and medical facilities, as well in agricultural and food processing operations. Any industrial in which employee may become exposed to human or animal bodily fluids poses a risk biological contamination. So, sa biological hazard kasama ditong bacteria, viruses, and fungi na karaniwang nasa environment or sa lugar na pinagtatrabahoan natin. So, para maiwasan yan, syempre, kailangan natin i-apply yung proper personal hygiene and ang paggamit ng personal protective equipment. Physical hazards occur when workplaces experience excessive levels of physical disruption like heat exposure. Radiant heat exposure represents a hazard in environments like steel mills or other factories. So, para maiwasan ang pagka-expose sa heat, maaari tayong gumamit ng reflective shields and protecting clothes para naman maiwasan at makontrola ang hazard na to. Noise level in the workplace become hazardous when employees are exposed to significant decibel levels over an extended time. So, para maiwasan ang ingay sa paligid, maaari tayong mag-install ng silencers and mufflers. Radiation hazard exists in workplace that contains equipment like X-ray machines and lasers, as well as in nuclear, defense, aviation, and oil and gas industry. Karaniwan ito sa mga machines, gaya nga ng sabi dito, X-ray machines and lasers, and especially sa mga gas industries. So, para maiwasan ng pagka-expose sa radiation, pwede tayong gumamit ng protective shields para maiwasan ng pagka-expose dito. Next is vibration. Vibration poses a particular hazard in transportation, where the driver of logging, mining, and long-haul trucks, cement mixers, and construction equipment must ride over the vibrating engines all day. Ang labis ng pag-vibrate ng equipment ay nagre-resulta ng discomfort sa atin, lalo na kung sobrang lakas na talaga nito. Sa facilities or workplaces, pwede silang mag-install ng shock absorbers and suspension system in vehicle. Sa gayon, ma-reduce ang vibration. Control ergonomic hazards in several ways: administrative practices, job site design, tools, and training. Ergonomic. Ergonomic hazards are the hazards associated with poor posture and task performing techniques in the workplace. Also defined as the study of people in the working environment. The goal is to eliminate discomfort and risk of injury due to work. So ang halimbawa nito, kapag nagbubuhat ka, syempre sa sobrang bigat ng binubuhat mo, na-stress yung body. And kapag na-stress yung body, tatabarin ka, pwede ka pang magkasakit. So ano ang pwede natin gawin? So pwede tayong gumamit ng equipment syempre, lalo na kung mabigat na masyado yung binubuhat natin. Administrative practices. Administrators can help counter ergonomic hazards by rotating employees among tasks. By means of rotation, so maiiwasan nating mapagod sa paulit-ulit na ginagawa nating trabaho. At syempre, kailangan din natin ng pahinga. Tools. Facilities can also provide their employees with equipment to ease the physical strain of their duties. Syempre, ang mga facilities nagpo-provide yan ng mga equipment para sa mga employee para maiwasan ang pananakit din syempre ng kanilang mga katawan. Gaya na lamang ng hand carts or mechanical lifters. Training. Facilities can provide training to educate employees on the proper technique for activities like lifting, pulling, and reaching. Para may apply ang mga proper techniques sa mga activities, so syempre kailangan mag-provide ng training. And also, to provide breaks or rest para naman maiwasan ang injury. So yun lang, and maraming salamat. Ako nga pala si Jamaluddin C. Ubinay.
Hello, I'm Janina Rescurawa and I will discuss chemical safety. Chemical safety. Chemicals as compounds, mixture, solution, and emulsion are very widely used and transported in the modern industrial society. Of necessity, they are also used in school, universities, and other training facilities to educate pupils in their safe use and handling, and also are commonly used in domestic situation for cleaning, garden, maintenance, and DIY. Ang chemical, ito kasi yung mga chemicals, marami siyang mga pinagagamitan. Yung iba kasing mga estudyante is ginagamit yung iba't ibang klase ng chemical sa mga experiments para matutunan nila kung paano i-handle yon, kung paano siya magiging safe. So, ginagamit din ito for cleaning and gardening. Sa may cleaning naman, kasi may mga chemicals na patanggal ng mga bara ng lababo, yun yung mga ginagamit nila. Yung iba kasi, hindi alam yun kung paano siya tamang paggamit ng chemical na yun. So, dapat, sa chemical na yun, dapat alam natin kung paano siya gamitin. So, dun sa may garden, sa mga garden kasi may mga iba't ibang klaseng mga chemical din ng mga ginagamit dun eh. Sa mga pagtatanim, katulad lang din ng mga pataba, ganun. What is chemical safety? Chemical safety is achieved by undertaking all activities involving chemical in such a way as to ensure the safety of human health and the environment. It covers all chemicals, natural and manufactured, and the full range of exposure situations from the natural presence of chemicals in the environment to their extraction or synthesis, industrial production, transport, use, and disposal. Dito kasi sa may sinasabi niya dito, sa may chemical safety daw is dapat kasi yung mga gagamitin nating mga chemicals, alam natin kung paano siya i-dispose ng maayos. Dapat kasi yung mga chemical, hindi na natin siya kung saan sa nilalagay. At kunwari, may mga maglalagay din tayo ng mga warning kunwari yung chemical na 'to dapat, bawal 'tong hawakan ng walang gloves, gano'n or sumasabog 'to. Dapat may mga warning signs tayo para alam ng iba na ha nakaka-ano 'yun, nakadisgrasya or hazard 'yun. Next. Chemical safety has many scientific and technical components. Among these are toxicology, ecotoxicology, and the process of chemical risk assessment, which requires a detailed knowledge of exposure and biological effect. Dapat daw, ayun nga yung sinabi ko kanina, na dapat maglalagay sila ng warning kung saan ba 'to nakakadisgrasya ba 'to or hindi, or kung itong chemical ba na 'to is safe na gamitin or safe sa ganito, sa ganyan, dapat may mga warning sign tayo. Tapos, sa pagdi-dispose naman ng mga chemicals, so dapat alam natin kung alin yung mga nakaka-hazard sa environment and yung hindi. Kasi meron kasing dapat kasi dito din sa kung meron na biodegradable and non-biodegradable, dito naman sa may chemical safety, dapat pinaghihiwalay natin yung nakaka-hazard dun um, sa paligid natin. Tapos yung mga hindi na puwede naman siya na hindi naman nakakasira sa kalikasan, so dapat pinaghiwa-hiwalay natin. Yun lang, thank you.
Why is chemical safety important? Establishing and maintaining a sound chemical safety policy not only saves human lives and protect the environment, but also avoid fines and penalties. The physical and biological effects of chemical must be considered before implementing any chemical safety measure. Ang paggawa at pag-maintain ng chemical safety policy ay hindi lamang upang makaprotekta sa taong bayan at kalikasan, kundi para makaiwas tayo sa mga kaso at multa na maaari nating makasangkutan. Bago tayo mag-implement ng mga safety measure na kailangan sundin, kailangan muna natin alamin ang epektong pisikal at sa buhay ng bawat isa. Risks and hazards. Chemicals in use in industry and research have range of properties which cause them to be hazardous to life. This includes explosiveness, flammability, toxicity, carcinogenicity, and teratogenicity. They may also emit radiation and they may exist high or low temperatures, generating a risk of burning or freezing. Substances such as strong alkalis and strong acid can cause chemical burning. Any one of chemical or mixture may exhibit several of these properties. Ang mga chemical na ginagamit sa industriya o pabrika at sa pagsusuri ay maraming kasangkapan na maaaring maging delikado sa buhay, gaya ng pagsabog, maaaring masunog, toxic at iba pa. Maaari din ito maglabas ng mga radiation na may iba't ibang temperatura na maaaring makasunog ng balat, gaya ng mga kemikal na may matataas na dose ng alkalis at acid.
So, I'm Eldra Marie Largo and yung i-report ko po is risk and hazard. Toxic materials may be solids in powdered or finely divided form, liquids or gases, and any of these materials may all be absorbed by inhalation, directly through the skin or by contact with mucous membranes in the nose or eyes. Some chemicals may persist in the body for substantial periods and can continue to exhibit toxicity. Examples of such materials include mercury, arsenic, dioxin, and many organic solvents which can be stored in fat soil. So, kailangan po alam natin kung ano yung pwedeng maging epekto ng mga chemicals sa ating katawan or kung paano natin ito makukuha, kung paano natin na-adapt. Protocols, rules, procedures, and standards. A chemically safe environment includes agreed standards and terminology, rules about handling, use, and transportations, protocols for managing reagents and products, and internationally accepted and standardized warning and information signage. From these are derived standards related to personal protective equipment or PPE, containment and cleanup procedures, reporting of accidents and incidents, and the collection and reporting on data about incidents where hazardous chemicals have caused risk to life, health, or the environment. So, para daw po maprotektahan natin yung physical natin, kailangan alam natin yung mga protocols, rules na and procedures na dapat gagawin natin para ma-prevent natin yung any accidents. Yun lang po. Thank you.
I am Caroline Jacinto. We're going to report about basic electrical safety with Jolo Sikat and Erica Antalan. So first, what is electrical safety? Electrical safety is a general practice of workers who are exposed to handling and maintaining electrically powered equipment. It is a set of guidelines they follow to mitigate electrical hazards and prevent its dangerous effects in case of an incident. Unable to adhere to electrical safety can lead to accidents, near misses, or even fatalities. So sinasabi dyan, sa mga workers na ang trabaho is mag-handle ng mga electrically powered equipment, generally, may sinusunod silang parang electrical safety procedures or guidelines. Since delikado yung work nila, sinusunod nila yon para malesen yung mga possible dangerous effects in case na may mangyaring aksidente. If ever na di masunod yon, pwedeng makakos yun ng aksidente. 5 electrical safety tips you should know for your home. Replace or repair damaged power cords. Don't overload your outlets. Avoid extension cords as much as possible. Keep electrical equipment or outlets away from water. And protect small children from hazards. Okay, so replace or repair damaged power cords. Yan. Madalas ito mangyari sa atin lalo sa mga chargers natin, 'di ba? Yung iba may ngat-ngat ng aso, may ngat-ngat ng daga. So kailangan diyan, meron naman tayong pwedeng ipangbuo diyan like electrical tape yan para malesen na din yung aksidente kasi hindi din naman din biro 'yon. And don't overload your outlets. Syempre, kapag yung extension mo is puno ng mga naka-charge, ganon, mas malaki yung chance na magkaroon ng electrical heat or pwede din siyang sumabog. Protect small children from hazards. Ilayo natin sa mga bata yung mga electrical outlet, yan, especially yung mga hanggat kayang taasan yung mga outlet, taasan yung hindi dapat maaabot ng mga bata kasi sobrang delikado talaga. And keep electrical equipment or outlets away from water. Ito, syempre, wag kang magsasaksak ng basa yung kamay mo kasi ito yung pwede mong ikamatay.
Naman po yung mga basic electrical safety dapat natin tandaan. Don't overplug a single outlet or never plug a bunch of different wires and cords into one single outlet or extension cord. It could damage the electrical system in your house and is a major fire hazard. It is also a waste of energy and not very environmentally friendly. Next naman po dito yung keep electrical cords out of reach. Keep electrical cords out of reach of curious babies and toddlers and teething pets. Make sure that all electrical cords are tucked away from and keep neat and tidy. Dito na pinapakita lang po dito na huwag po nating ilantad sa mga bata o mga natanda na yung mga wires, i-keep natin siya sa mga babies kasi yung mga bata curious sila, pwede sila magsaksak ng kahit anong bagay na hawak nila, kaya dapat mag-ingat tayo. Sunod naman po, keep children and pets away from any electrical fence. Make sure that children and pets are kept away from electrical fence, and in the case of children, they know never to touch or climb them. Call the electrical company if a ball or pets get inside the fence, or tell your children to call the nearest grown up to do so. They could know they don't have to get it themselves and scream the dangerous. Ipaalam natin sa mga bata yung mga kailangan nilang gawin. Tulad na hindi dapat nilang kunin agad sa mga electrical fence, tumawag sila mas nakakatanda sa kanila. So doon po, don't yank cords out of the outlet. Pulling on the cords too hard can damage appliances, whether the plug or outlet. So don't yank cords out of the yung paghugot natin ng mga plugs, mga ganon, huwag natin masyadong binibigla kasi pwede siya mag-damage yung mga wires sa loob na pwede siya mag-spark or mag-react pag nagkadikit sila. Kaya dapat gentle lang yung paghugot ng mga outlet. Sa outlet natin yung mga plug. Be smart about power lines. Looking out of power lines is an important outdoor electric safety tip. If your child is out flying kites, make sure there are not any power lines. Kites can conduct electricity and send it down to your child on the ground. Also, tell your child to look out of power lines if they are climb trees. Yun. Sabihin natin sa mga mas makakabata na kapag akit tayo akit sila mga puno, gano'n. Tingnan nila kung may mga kuryente pang mga nakadikit dito, malapit sa puno. Pag maglalaro sila ng mga saranggola, lumayo sila sa mga lines, power lines. Kasi yung saranggola, pwede siya maging conductor at makuryente yung mga bata. So naman, be smart about thunderstorm. Thunderstorm safety is another important outdoor electrical safety tip. Also, if you and your child are caught outside in the thunderstorm, don't wait it out under the tree. Get away from the trees and to the nearest shelter. Kapag naman nabutan tayo mga thunderstorm sa labas ng bahay, huwag daw tayo pupunta sa mga ilalim ng puno kasi yung puno, isa siya sa mga conductor. Mas na-attract niya yung kuryente kasi basa yung loob niya. Karamihan sa mga nababalita, yung mga puno, sila yung mga tinatamaan, lalo pa yung mga sa gitnang bukid.
Keep electrical equipment away from water. Make sure that all electrical cords, wires, or equipment are kept away from any water. Most indoor electrical incidents happen because people use electricity near water. Don't put metal in outlets. Make sure your child is not putting anything in metal. Kasi 'di ba, yung kuryente alam natin na sobrang nakakamatay, kaya na itong pumatay ng isang tao. Kasi 'di ba may nag-trending sa Facebook na bata na sinuksok yung kutsara sa extension kaya namatay yung bata kasi alam naman natin na sobrang delikado yung kuryente. Saka malapit sa tubig kasi pagmumulan din to pwede din to pagmulan ng sunog, ganon. Tapos yung use safety cups covering outlets will not only keep your child and pet safer, it will help save you energy by stopping cold drops from getting in your home. Yun naman yung nakakatulong para malis yung accident na pwedeng mangyari. All electrical systems have the potential to cause harm. Electricity can be either static or dynamic. Na ibig sabihin ng static ay yung maaaring may magkaroon ng imbalance sa pagitan ng positive and negative charge. Yung dynamic naman ay parang steady lang yung flow ng electron na ibig sabihin na wala pong imbalance na nangyayari. Conductors are materials that allow the movement of electricity through it. Most metals are conductors. The human body is also a conductor. This document is about dynamic electricity. Also, static electricity is accumulation of charge on surface as a result of contact and friction with another surface. Yung self-explanatory naman po, kasi makikita natin yan sa yung conductor, yung talagang main material para mag-function yung takbo ng kuryente. Saka 'di ba alam naman din natin na halos lahat ng metal is conductor. Sabi din dito yung katawan natin ay parang conductor din kasi may nag-aalaw sa movement natin, 'di ba? Kaya masasabi na yung human body is a conductor.